More Kaepernick-style protests have sprung up across different high schools as well as with different major players in the NFL. And the police aren't too happy about this. And for that, I go to a story from Louisiana where there was another mass protest by a football team at the Bonnabel High School varsity. It's the varsity team. Now, most of the players said, you know what? We're going to kneel for the national anthem. And so they kneeled before during the national anthem. And the police have said, if you're going to do that, you're not going to rely on our protection. Sheriff Newell Norman said, quote, "My understanding is we've had some officers that said that they will not work with the Bonnabel High football games. I understand why in light of Colin Kaepernick's comments, specifically when he says cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right. That's not right by anyone's standards. The fact of the matter is we risk our lives each and every day for the safety and security of our constituency throughout this country." Norman also says some of his deputies are refusing to sign up for voluntary security detail. He says, "The same way that the Bonnabel players have every right to kneel during the national anthem, my officers have every right not to volunteer to work the Bonnabel High School football game." Now, he says that, but don't worry, we're not going to leave them all out. No, there will be enough deputies that will volunteer to work that security detail, and he won't allow the school to go without protection. But he says he will not force deputies to work if they feel disrespected by the students' protest. Quote, "That fuels the disappointment in my officers when they see this happen, and I can fully understand their disappointment and frustration. When they're on the clock and they're working for me, they've got to do what they've got to do because that's what they're hired to do. That's not what this is. This is a voluntary detail where they volunteer to work this extra detail separate and apart from what they're hired to do." So, police saying, hey, we're not going to take this shift, we're not going to take this security detail because you disrespected us. When really, this isn't about the police all that much. This is about unjustified police killings of African Americans and, yes, also white people, because guess what? White people also get shot by the cops. And it's always, it's wrong. In most circumstances, it's wrong.
You know, in small-town Louisiana, I have a feeling all the cops really do anyway is just bust those kids for drinking underage. So really, I mean, they should be happy that the cops want to leave them alone. They should kneel for everything.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't think? I mean, I think. I mean, what else do you think that's all most small-town police, that's pretty much all they do. Yeah, in a situation like that. They bust kids for drinking underage. That's all they do. So really, you know, those kids aren't losing much. And didn't that happen at a high school somewhere else and people were applauding it? Like people, I mean, wouldn't you want to be happy that the kids are thinking critically?
Not in Louisiana.
Apparently not. And also, you know, this whole thing, I mean that whole argument of, well, you're disrespecting police, and even I think Obama said something about, like, keep in mind, he said to Colin Kaepernick, keep in mind the military families and stuff like that. That's not what this is about. Right. This is about acknowledging a system that is completely broken. We did a story on the Jimmy Dore show recently where, you know, they've revealed that it takes, in many places, it takes more time to become an interior designer in terms of training than it does to become a police officer.
Seriously?
That's not right. Yes, and other jobs as well. The clip should be out soon. In many states, it takes more hours to be a barber than it does to become a police officer. And they're trained, and the way that they're trained to, you know, just immediately diffuse something. That they're trained to shoot first and ask later. In most cases, they're not trained properly, and this goes into our weapons policy in this country that needs to change yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're acknowledging a broken system. You're not saying, you know, the whole, like, not all cops are bad or this or that. Those are just straw men at this point. And whenever somebody makes that point, you know, it's like, just go, leave the room. The adults are talking. Put your helmet on and go do something else. Maybe try to figure out a Rubik's Cube or something. Just don't strain yourself. That's not what this is about. This is about a system that's broken. This is about a system that's lets people with serious PTSD have badges, which it's not their fault they have the PTSD, but that should disqualify them from being a police officer. When you are a member of the KKK, that should be discovered, and that should disqualify you from being a police officer. You shouldn't, if you're in the KKK, you don't get to be a police officer. End of story. And all of these things are happening. They've been uncovered as these shootings have and continue to occur. And these shootings are nothing new. We just happen to have more of them on film now. So, yeah, you're acknowledging a broken system. Law enforcement is a broken system in this country. And now more than ever, that needs to be addressed.
I couldn't agree more on that. Yeah, look, what he said, and you pretty much referenced this earlier, and saying, yeah, they're saying that this is disrespectful to police, but once again, this isn't about the police, right? Not necessarily about the police. It's about the injustice in the system that's baked in, and that we've got to actually do something about it. Look, Colin Kaepernick started a conversation, and there are a lot of people that see this conversation and are like, you know what? You're right. Black people are not treated the same way. There are plenty of shootings. I mean, look, just the last couple of days, there are even more police shootings of unarmed black men. And I think there was an unarmed white man that happened in 2015 where they just rolled up on a man and his 6-year-old autistic son, shot them both, killed the son.
Mm-hmm.
Police brutality is out of control, and right now it's definitely slanted more against the African American community, but it's starting to branch out. It's starting to affect more and more people. And, you know, if anything, at least maybe that will get some of these white people who support the cops no matter what, to go, hey, you know what? Now they're shooting us. This is a problem. At the very least, it might get them to pay attention. Whereas people who actually care about black lives and think black lives actually matter, like we all do, we've been paying attention to this for a very, very long time.
Well, and I think it's shining light on what the police really do in most cases. You look at what happened in San Diego area recently. You get a call that a mentally ill man is acting out of line. He is unarmed, and the solution is to tase him and then shoot him 5 times. I feel like if the fire department, or better yet, an EMT was called, that man would still be alive.
Yeah.
I really do think so. So it's problem. Like you call the police. If you call the police, have it in the back of your head, someone might get killed here.
And it makes a lot of people very, very nervous to call the police. And that's sort of the opposite thing that, the police we're supposed to be there to protect and serve, right? If you're too nervous
that's what their job description is, yeah.
If you're too nervous to call them because you think, well, geez, I've seen how this turns out hundreds of times, that somebody might end up getting killed because of a cop with an itchy trigger finger, that gets so scared, as we've seen in many instances, might as well just not call them anymore, and that doesn't help. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.